Hey, what it be? It's your boy Dre OG. Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're rocking with the vibes and the content. Look, man, we're on our way to 1 million subscribers, man. Y'all go ahead and goddamn run that thing up, man. Share these videos to your friends and family. Look, man, we have a good time on this channel, man. But look, let's get into this video. We got these dirty facts about history that probably didn't teach your ass in school, but we're gonna get into it, you know?
Let's take a look at 3 of the most horrific torture methods in human history. Up first we have the heretic's fork. This device was used mainly during the Spanish Inquisition. It had 2 sharp ends which were positioned pointing at the victim's chin and neck, meaning that they couldn't nod their head or fall asleep without risking wounding themselves. The victims were forced to wear the heretic's fork until they confessed to crimes that they may or may not have committed. Next up we have the Brazen Bowl. This torture device was a hollowed-out bronze statue shaped like a bowl with enough space for a human being to fit inside. Once the victim had been locked within the statue, a fire would be built underneath, essentially baking them alive. In an ironic twist of fate, the person that invented this device would also become its first victim. Finally, we have Judas's Cradle. This gruesome device was used during the 16th century. It was essentially a 3-legged stool, but instead of a seat, it had a massive wooden or metal spike. Its victims were slowly lowered down onto it until eventually it pierced their most sensitive parts. Comment which of these devices sounds the most painful to you and follow for more.
Did you know ketchup has the most disgusting history ever? The British advertised ketchup as diarrhea medication in the 1830s, but it was actually so toxic that if you opened up a bottle of it, it could kill you. Ketchup wasn't even made out of tomatoes for the longest time. It came from China and it looked like this.
Of course,
it was made out of fish guts and salt, and then it was put out into the sun for 20 to 50 days until it fermented. So it made it to Britain in the 1830s, and people were like, holy crap, this is so good, it must be diarrhea medication. But because preservatives weren't really a thing back then, the ketchup would go bad really quickly. And within a few days, it would look like this. And sometimes it was so bad that people would just open up the bottle and sniff it, and because of all the deadly bacteria in it, they would just drop dead. But people just kept eating it. So anyway, this is why ketchup comes in clear bottles, because back then, people needed to see if they were gonna die or not.
Disturbing facts.
But that just makes you think about ketchup completely different. Like, I mean, I've been looking at products on the market, like, you know, with the eye, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure you know what the hell you eating, man. Like, this is wild out here.
Will ruin your day. In 1906, a man in Morocco was sentenced to be walled alive after he was found guilty of unaliving 36 people. For 2 full days, people could hear him crying from inside the wall. There have been reports of these vacuum toilets and airplanes sucking out people's insides. When 14-year-old George Stinney was executed by electric chair, he was too short to fit into the chair, so he had to sit on a copy of the Bible. Later, he was found innocent. The average person spends 5 months of their lives waiting for red lights to turn green. If you have red eyes after swimming, it's not from chlorine. It's from the chlorine mixing with other people's urine. And be careful the next time you're on an escalator, because there's been many cases of escalators eating people alive. Follow for more.
Disturbing historic.
Hold on, man. I knew about the case with the little dude, but see, that's why I don't like, bro. Look, that's why I don't fuck with people like that on a massive scale, bro. Like, just like that, because people nasty, bro. Like, getting into the pool and they're urinating in the pool and that shit getting in your eyeballs. I gotta look that one up though, for real, because that shit sound weird. But I just, you know how you hope that that's not true.
Historical facts that you wish you never knew. In the 18th century, a woman convinced doctors that she was giving birth to rabbits. The doctors actually believed it for a little while until they found corn in one of the rabbits' stomach. And knowing this, it wasn't possible to have come from her womb. She was manually inserting the rabbits into herself to make it more like a natural birth. Genghis Khan was one of the worst people to ever...
Hey, look, y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, maybe that vagina was bumping. Was jumping, I meant. That shit was jumping, wasn't it? Yeah.
have walked the earth. He killed over 40 million people. He was responsible for actually changing the carbon dioxide levels on Earth during his 21-year reign. In 1930s, the apartments there were so cramped together and there was no outside places to play that people would actually make cages outside of their windows in the apartments that held their baby so the baby could get fresh air. That was great. As usual, there are no part 2s, so throw me a follow, like, and comment, and thank you for watching.
Disturbing history facts that they don't teach in school. Human zoos were active until 1958. They had people from various regions in cages. The My Lai massacre in Vietnam. The US Marines marched into a village and killed over 600 people. When the babies were shot. The pirates were the terrorists of their time. Killing, burning, execution games, slavery, and even cannibalism. So they had nothing to do with the pirates in the movies.
If you know anything about ancient Rome,
after they got tired of eating that white meat, they came looking for some black people. They were like, yeah, they look like chocolate. Let's go fucking take a bite out of these niggas. Like, that's what happened next, yeah.
a lot of their emperors were absolutely disgusting. This piece of shit probably takes the cake. This is Emperor Tiberius. This involves children, so viewer discretion is advised. The pedo used the whole island of Capri to do disgusting things. Here's your last chance to scroll away before I say what I'm about to say. He liked to sit in the water fountains that were built on the island, and he would train toddlers to nibble at him and called them his little fishes. Do we really need a statue of this dude? Do we really?
Hey, man, I know all that shit is built off of Satanism.
Can he just be like erased into history and forgotten?
Disturbing historical facts that you wish I hadn't have told you. Up until the 1980s, it was believed that babies couldn't feel pain, so during operations they didn't give them any anesthesia. Instead, they gave them muscle relaxers, so the baby wouldn't be able to move, but they would still be crying. In the 18th century, Mary Toft convinced doctors that she was giving birth to rabbits. However, they ended up finding corn in one of the rabbits' stomach, which proved it wasn't developed inside of her. Turns out she'd been manually inserting them to make the delivery look as realistic as possible. In the 1930s in London, parents would keep their babies in cages so they could get fresh air. Just imagine walking down the road and
what's even more terrible is that it was considered normal. What's even more
seeing this today.
One of the most horrible things in the human history was child labor, and what's even more terrible is that it was considered normal. A newborn was seen as future labor, an old age insurance policy for most of the human history. From an early age, children were expected to help around the farm, house, or business. Around the turn of the century, as the economy progressed and so did urbanization, children worked in a wide range of industries, careers, and professions. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics in the United States maintains a track of all of this. They claim that rural kids have now been employed in resource extraction, for instance, mining and conveying coal, in addition to the traditional farming and agricultural field labor that they had historically done 100 years ago. Children from the coastal towns could be found fishing, shoring, and shucking oysters for cannings. As for the cities and towns of all sizes, children worked in mills and factories, making products such as glass, textiles, kitchenware, cigars, and more. The children from large cities, however, could be seen talking around careers, drivers, cleaners, newsies, and more. In almost every level of the US economy, child labor was involved. However, the children themselves didn't get to enjoy the money they earned. The society saw these kids as an extra source of income for their parents.
The most distressing.
Hey, that's wild though. You gotta think though, bro. In my travels, I remember like flying on certain missions and we'd land in places that was janky as hell, like dirt road type shit, right? And you would see children out there working with their parents, and their parents were out there chopping down trees for the runway and stuff, just getting it all prepared and stuff. But the little kids, it was like 5, 6, 7, maybe, like out there helping, picking up little logs and stuff. And it's just like that in certain places. So that's not out of the ordinary. But when I come back here, that's why I say, man, cherish what you have, because it's a lot worse in other places. A lot of these kids, look, y'all take that shit for granted. Oh, going outside, having fun and playing, getting on TikTok or whatever y'all do nowadays. But you got to understand, in other places, it ain't like that. So be grateful for what you have and make the best out of it, for real. Stop complaining about everything. You know, it could get better, but I mean,
Historical fact I know is that houses of ill repute existed in Victorian London, but for children. The girls who worked there were often as young as 9, and their customers were young boys who lived a life of crime. By 1852, prison inspectors for the Home District found that these children were riddled with venereal disease by the time that they were 12.
What is the most disturbing history fact you know? In the 1800s, a woman named Madame Marie Delphine Lalaurie did some really horrific things to slaves she owned at the time, including cutting off their genitals and sewing them shut in the mouths of still living victims and similar things. I think she only got found out when a cook intentionally set the house on fire hoping to kill everyone inside because death was better than what was happening to them inside that house.
The most disturbing torture and execution.
Hey, y'all want to know where I have a hard time believing that type of stuff right there? Is the simple fact there's just, I don't know, just my mindset, bro. I couldn't imagine somebody like sewing my mouth closed. Look, I'm gonna go out with a bang. You ain't gonna get a chance to do that to me. Once I get my hands on you, it's over for you. You know, you're not gonna outmuscle me, none of that stuff. I got endurance, all of that. I just don't see how people will go out like that. I don't care about all that fear stuff. Oh, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen regardless. If you want to try to put something like that in my motherfucking mouth and sew my shit, you got it messed up. That's gonna happen to you. You're not gonna do that to me. Or I'm just gonna go out with a bang. I'm be dead by the time you get to do that to me. Real talk.
Methods in History, Part 1. The Brazen Bowl. This is a method where they would put you in a metal bowl and heat it up with fire, so that when you cook, your screams could be heard. And the only person known to have been killed this way was the guy who made it. Impalement as a method of torture and execution. When you're impaled, you're dying slowly over the days with a wooden pole through your body. Also, Vlad the Impaler impaled kids as well.
Yo, what's up? Here's some disturbing history facts that your teacher didn't teach you, but I'm about to. Part 2. Did you know that in 1929, 2 researchers turned a live cat into a telephone? And I know what you're thinking, there's literally no way. But sure enough, 2 scientists from Princeton wanted to test how the auditory nerve perceives sound, so they cut out a piece of the cat's brain and went to work. So while the cat was heavily sedated but still very much alive, they attached one side of the wire to the auditory nerve of the cat and the other to a receiver, and they just began talking back and forth with a normal conversation. A little strange if you ask me. Back in the early 1900s, there was a Russian mystic named Rasputin, and he survived not 1, not 2, but 3 assassination attempts on him. The first attempt, someone tried to poison him. The second attempt, someone shot him. And the third attempt, someone stabbed him. And yet he was still kicking after all of this. And eventually he was wrapped in a blanket and thrown in a river, and that's how he died. But not before assassins cut off his private parts and pickled them in a jar.
Top 3 rare photos from history.
Man, what's up with that, man? What's up with dudes doing that, man? Like that's insane, bro. That's pure jealousy. You want to pickle it for what you want to do? Save it for later and deep throat it? Like, that's crazy. Want to put a pickle down your throat? Like, that's weird,
a little
bro.
spoken about mass genocide.
Just give me the gun.
Perfection. You see all those craters in his face? What the hell look like perfection? It look like the moon. She look like the moon on your face. Like, that shit ain't perfection, bro. Like, come on, stop it. Learn a little bit more about, that's not my history. Be for real with you, man. A lot of that shit was other people's history. But at the simple fact of it, it's crazy what they used to do and the thought processes back in the day. And to be real with y'all, it's just not that long ago. The 1900s, we just came out of there. The 1800s, not too far behind. 1700s, not too far behind, bro. But it is what it is, man. History is history, man. Like, that's not his story. You get it? His story, not my story. That ain't mine. Like, they be trying to lie about my shit, but that's crazy, man. Dope videos right here, man. Let me know what y'all thought about this video right here, and I'll see you on the next one, man. We're gonna have many more to drop, man. Just watch the videos that you want to drop, that you want to watch, and that's it, man. Make sure y'all share these videos. Make sure y'all tune into the lives. Make sure y'all got y'all notifications on so y'all can get these videos as soon as they drop. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See you on the next video, and I'm out though. Bye.